Hey, I'm Ernesto, I make tech and breaks, and today we're gonna talk about referencing tracks. In most of the videos I've seen on YouTube, people only talk about how loud your track is. This is stupid. Why am I telling you this? Because I can grab any piece of turd, slap a limiter on it, and make it as loud as I want. This does not mean that the track is going to sound good. In this video, we're gonna go over referencing tracks during the production stage. And now you're gonna be able to know which elements to use, how loud they're supposed to be, and where in the frequency spectrum to place them. If you found this video and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. So let's get into it. The first thing you're gonna do is choose the correct reference track, not your homeboy's banjo experimental project. It has to be a track in the same genre that you want to produce, by a renowned artist, released through a proper record label. This is gonna give you a quality mix and master to follow. Now, we're gonna step into Ableton so I can show you how to use the Ableton EQ to analyze the elements on the reference track that we have chosen. Let's get to it. Alright guys, it's time to play Beatport Top 10. Let's see what's going on here. We got Purple Disco Machine. I don't think that's tech house enough. So let's go to Pump It Up by Endor. We put the track into Ableton and we looped the main drop, which is the same as the second drop, but that is tech house for you. Not hating on my boy Endor. I play a lot of his tracks and they are great, but this is essentially a hit and we're here to make hits today, okay? If you double click on the EQ, it opens up this big window where we can see what note we are on. That way we'll find out what's going on with the kick and the sub. All right, so here we have B hitting in the sub. We have D also. Okay, here's the kick at F sharp, 45, 46 hertz. We have B again, D again, and here's a note at F sharp, or sounds like the kick also, again, the top of the kick, mid of the kick. Now we have B again, D, and this is the top of the kick. As you can see, and like I've said in many of my other videos, what this guy is doing here is using the third and the fifth in the scale. What this helps him do is to keep everything separate in the mix. So when he slaps a master on it, he'll get a clean and thick little sausage that's gonna break clubs. Many of the people that are making professional tracks are looking into these things. They're not just throwing things against the wall and seeing if they stick. They are properly thinking out what they are doing. As you can see, he has B and D down here. Then we have the kick in F sharp. Then we have the main bass B, D, F sharp out here. So that's B, main note, D is the third, F sharp is the fifth. And then he has it again. So he's probably layering the same bass line 3 times. So what he's doing here is sacrificing the size of the kick so he can have all these basses going on at the same time. And he can do this because they're hitting the same notes, so there aren't any weird resonances anywhere. So let's see what else is going on in the track. Here we have again at F sharp a good amount of hit from the kick. Now we get into the vocals. So yeah, ending on D. Okay, this is the main section of a clap, hitting at 1.50, F sharp. Again, we're here at F sharp again. Main part of the hat, D. Also F sharp. And we have F sharp hitting in the high resonance of the hat. Now we're gone. That's enough. Every element that he has on the track is either the perfect fifth, the third, or the main note. What this does is create a congruence in the mix. Everything will sound well and will be 100 times easier to mix if you're doing this. Now we're gonna take it one step further. We're gonna use span to analyze both tracks, the one we're working on against our reference track at the same time. This process is a little annoying and very user unfriendly, but I'm gonna show you how to do it. Okay, so now I'm gonna do the most annoying thing I think I've ever done, and that's explain how to analyze two tracks or two elements in the span spectrum analyzer. Boxengo, if you got a sponsorship, please hit me up. This is the only thing I speak about, so I think I kind of deserve it. I put my track I've been working on called Ronca. It's like my attempt at tech house. You can hear it here. There you go, simple. And I put it against the Pump It Up track. We're gonna see how these relate to each other. So first of all, we're gonna double these. Then we're gonna call this one Pump Reference. We're gonna call this one Ronca Reference. And we're gonna group them so we know these are just the reference ones. Span ref. All right, then we're gonna make two audio tracks. We're gonna call this one Pump Span, and we're gonna call this one Ronca Span. We're gonna group these. We're gonna be sure that they are only in tracks because we're using them to receive sound. Now we're gonna make the first one completely left, the second one completely right. We're gonna send the Pump It Up, not this one, the reference one. We are gonna send it to Pump Span, and Ronca, we're gonna send Ronca to Ronca Span. Turn this off because we're not gonna be using it. This group is going to be called Span Analysis. Let's just change the color so we know which track is which. And now we're gonna put the span in here and see if this thing is working. We should hear nothing but get both tracks in the same span analyzer. There you go. But we can't tell which track is which. Then we go to settings on the top right, make sure we have show groups bar, and then the fun begins. Bear with me though. We go to routing, we change the in channel names. Left is gonna be Pump It because we put it on the left. Right is gonna be Ronca, and now we gotta change the group names to Pump and Ronca, even though this is just gonna make it double for some damn reason. So we gotta change D to Ronca, put these on numbers so we don't mistake it for something. Now we click play and we select underlay Ronca, and we have both tracks at the same time. Can you believe it, people? We have made it. So now I could essentially activate my track. This is gonna be, could be a little loud. Let's check it out. As you can see, my track is really low in the mid-highs, a lot lower than his. And then my bass is a little high. So I might, turn down the sub a little bit just to get it closer to what he has. Well, he does have a number 2 beatboard track, so it must be pretty good. My hats are a little low up here in the 8 to 10K. I might be able to push that just with the EQ. You can also use this to check out different elements in your track and see if they're hitting in the right space. Let's go to the next step. Now that we're this close to becoming the next Fisher, we could use all kinds of plugins to set our final levels but I think it's really important to use the isotope tonal balance. What this is gonna tell you is how the elements in your track compare to each other and our reference track. I'm gonna show you how to create a tonal balance curve based on our reference track and even a bunch of them. So you could actually make a final track that can fit correctly in a mix next to the tracks that are being released professionally. Okay, so this is the isotope tonal balance. We can start by listening to my track and using the target bass heavy to see what's going on. As you can see, maybe my low mids are a little low, but in my opinion, I wouldn't trust a bass heavy setting on a normal plugin because there are millions of tracks that this could relate to or not relate to. So what we are gonna do is create a custom target curve from an audio file or even a folder of files. This is gonna let you grab maybe 5 tracks that you like, that are in the same genre that you aspire to be, and create a curve that follows them. So you can check that curve against your track and find out if you are in the same line. No matter if the track is mastered, unmastered, or whatever, you're gonna get a real close idea of what your track is supposed to sound like. I think this is really helpful for beginners. It's a great plugin. It's definitely worth the money. So these were my tips on how to reference tracks and get closer to your mixing goals. If these helped you out, don't forget to leave a like in this video. And if you have any tips on your own, just leave them in the comments.